Okay, let's take a tour of the Payroll Admin Dashboard. Let's walk through it together. So this is where all the records end up for you as the payroll administrator. They're here for you to review and edit and send to the host system, which in this case is Coins. The supervisor also has a dashboard called the Time Tracker Dashboard, which is right here. So when they receive records from the time clock or the tech app, then they can go in and do the same thing. Their job is to review, edit, delete, add, and then final QC and send off to you. When they send it to you, the payroll administrator, then it comes off of their board. Now it's on yours. So those records moved from their board to your board. So it's displaying all of the records in a timesheet format. Right there it says timesheet. So this is how you will see it. Now there's a couple of different views here, so let me walk you through that. This right now, this is called the table. Okay, this is the table. So this table is showing these records. Each one of these is a record. Okay, a row is a record. And it's showing them with a dark font, and it's showing a checkbox here, and it's also showing a box around these values here, which means if there's a box around it, you can click on it, open it, and edit it. So from here, you could actually, this is what the supervisor sent you. You could actually go in here and change any of these fields. You can add other jobs and work orders. You can move hours from straight time to overtime, and so on. Now, notice this button here. This little slider button, this is highlighted blue right now, and it says display unprocessed records. So what that means is that when it's turned on, you see only the records that have not been sent to Coins yet. That's what you see. You know they haven't been sent, or another word, name for that is processed. You know they have not been processed, again, because they have check boxes, the text is dark, and you've got the ability to edit totals. Now, watch what happens when I turn this off. Now you can see that these records are grayed out, okay? And if we scroll down, you cannot edit these anymore. These you could still edit because it's Saturday and Sunday, nothing came across, that's why the boxes are there. But you also notice there's no checkbox over here. So these records can no longer be processed. Now here's one that right now it's showing all, so it's showing everything. So as I scroll down, I see this one has not been processed yet, and there are the hours, the boxes around the hours. So this is now a mix of processed and unprocessed for the current pay period. Okay, let's talk about this at the top. You can select which department you want to look at. You can isolate all the records based on a department, and you can select more than one department if you want to. When you select that department, it's going to also allow you to select jobs and work orders from within that department. Okay, and again, you can select multiple ones. If you see it highlighted in green, this is a work order. It just means that these work orders have recently been closed. They're still in the system, because we're going to hold on to these work orders for 30 days just to make sure you don't have to go back and charge more time to it. But they have been closed. They have a status that begins with C, so you know that that's what that means. And at some point after 30 days, they will go away completely. Okay, let's take a look at this too. This is a date range. So a date range selector. Right now, the date range is 10/26 to 11/01, and today is 11/02. Today is the 2nd. This is showing you the current pay period, and you can select any date range you want by clicking that calendar. And when you select it, it selects it based on pay period. Now, this shows you today's date and time, of course, and it shows you the current pay period that people are charging time to. And then it shows you the in-process pay period. There's an overlap here because we process the payroll or the hours for payroll on the first day of the next pay period. So it's an overlap. So let's take a look at this. This is today's date and time, of course. And then we've got a current pay period and an in-process pay period. Let me explain the differences of those. Current pay period is today through for the next 7 days. And this is what's being processed today from jobs that are working today or work orders that are charging time today. So those are coming through, but they're not to be processed. They get processed next week. So the in process is what we are reconciling and sending off to coins. And this pay period ended yesterday, but it's being processed today, which is the first day of the next pay period. So there's an overlap. That's last week's pay period that's being processed today. This is the current pay period that starts today and goes out for the next 7 days. And you can see that the calendar defaults to the in process. And if you look, you'll see there's the date range, the 26th through the 1st. When you click on these, either one that you click on, it will change the date range of the table, and it will underline it to let you know which one you're looking at. Okay, so that's how all that works. And this one just gives you options for reports that are related to the Payroll Admin Dashboard. Okay, let's move on down. These are called stats, statistics, and it's showing you the number of people. So there's 433 people processing time at this branch. 352 of them are in Department 10, 50 at 20, and so on. There's some of these people that don't have 40 hours for the week, and we've identified them for you. And so this is just a way to flag some potential problems that you may want to look into. If I click this, it's going to sort the table and group the table and just isolate it based on those 126 people. So as you scroll down through here, you'll notice on the straight time is that they do not have 40 hours. Okay, it's just a way for you to look at it and say, well, maybe there's an issue, and look into it. Okay, same thing with overtime. These people have overtime. Let's talk about overtime issues. So what does overtime issues mean? Well, it means that you have, the way the overtime rule works, at least in most of the country, is any hours over 40 is considered overtime. And that's easy enough for us to calculate. But if someone works on multiple jobs, like in this case here, we don't know where to put the overtime. We don't know which job to put it to. Someone has to make that decision. So all we do is flag it for you and say, okay, you've got an hour of overtime. Where do you want to put it? And then you can click here and make that adjustment. And in some cases, you may find that it's less than 40 here, and there may be overtime showing. So you'll have to, again, take a look at that and see what that means. So all we do is flag it for you. These are the people that are requesting PTO, and these are the records that have come in since you've processed the last batch.